Okay, so yesterday we have seen the booking of the customer invoices, how we can book the customer invoices. Like we have seen the free text invoices, we have seen the recurring invoices, and also we have seen the uh, sales order with direct purchase order. I mean sales order with direct delivery. So we have seen these three different cases in the sales order process. Now how we can do the payments. So let's see how we can make the customer payments. Okay, so for that, first let me change the legal entity to USMF. Okay, so at here, similarly how we have a method of payment, similarly in the account receivable, we have under payment setup, we have method of payments. Okay, so this method of payment is how we have created in the accounts payable. Similarly, we have for the customer. Okay, so we have different payment methods like cash, check, electronic, PDC. Okay, so if you see the payment type, okay, under payment type we have other check, bill of exchange, credit card. Okay, so now bill of exchange is outdated, so there is no bill of exchange. So mostly we are using the credit card, checks, electronic payment and others. Okay, so in check we have two different checks. One is the CDC. CDC is nothing but the current dated check. Another one is the PDC. PDC is nothing but the post dated check. Okay, PDC concept is mostly used during the real estate over here in the Middle East. Okay, and in some places also they are utilizing it. Okay, so what they will do under PDC, they will take the advance check. Like for example, if I need to pay my rent, I need to give the whole year checks to them. Okay, the check deduction date may be in the future, but they have the maturity date. Based on that particular maturity date, they will deposit the check and they will make the payments. Similarly, how we have seen in the vendor, same concept over here in the customer also. But if you see the difference under vendor payment journal and customer payment journal, for checks we used to generate over there in the vendor payment journal, but at here the check number is going to be updated manually by us, I mean by finance team, by the finance user during the customer payment journal. Okay, so why we need to update the customer payment journal manually? The reason behind this is the check what we are receiving is that is from the customer. Okay, in vendor payment journal what we are issuing the check is that check is related to our own instrument, our own company instrument. That is the difference. Okay, now if you see over here the file type and payment control and file format, these all are same as vendor, so there is no change over here. The change only you will see over here is the payment type which we will update. So rest all information is same as compared to the accounts payable vendor method of payment. Okay, so now what we will do, so we have over here different method of payment, so we will see one by one. Okay, so to create the vendor payment journal, so what we need to do, we need to go to the customer payment journal. Okay, so the type of the this particular journal is customer payment. Okay, so you should be known if the interviewer asks, so what is the method of I mean what is the payment type for the journal for customer payment or customer receipt also, they in other words they can say customer receipt. Okay, so when you say the customer receipt or customer payment, both are same. Okay, there is no difference. Okay, the terminology differs but the process is same. Okay, so at here to create customer receipt, what we will do, we will click on new. and we will select the journal name. Okay, like for example customer payment or customer receipt. So you will update the description as it is. If you want to update the description, you can update. So after updating the description, we will go to the lines. Okay, so in this particular line, so by default at here the account is customer. Okay, similarly has vendor. So in case if you want to modify, you can modify it by going to the general tab. So we have the account type field. Okay, so at here if you change it to the vendor, then what will happen in the list, it will be display my vendor master. Okay, like for example these all are my vendor master. Okay, so in case if you want to modify over here, you can do it. So this is straightforward, which is available. Okay, so this is nothing but your general view only. But when you comes to the accounts payable, vendor payment journal, by default the master will be vendor. And when you come to the customer, by default the account type is customer. Okay, that is the difference. Now at here, let me select the uh, one of the customer. Like for example, I am selecting the forest wholesaler. Okay, so if I press tab, by default the vendor name is populated. Okay, so I have an option to choose the invoice number by from this particular drop down. That is one way, or else you can directly go to the settle transaction. So once you go on to the settle transaction, it will display all the invoices. Okay, so at here let me pick one of the invoice number like 000021. So if I want to make settlement partially, so I can change the amount over here. Like for example, I want to make payment for only 10 against this particular invoice. So I will update 10 over here. Okay, and if I click on OK, so what will happen? This particular 10, whatever amount is there, that will be carry forward to credit. Okay, and at here you can see the method of payment. By default it has been mapped as check. So in case if you want to change to cash, you will change to the cash. Okay, so once you have selected the cash, so it will appear the cash account. Okay, now at here for cash also it is. Okay, so at here for cash also it is it is mapped with bank. So how it is mapped with bank? So let me make the duplicate tab. Okay, so if you go to the method of payment, okay, for cash account you can see it is mapped as payment type as checked. For cash account it will be by default, it should be mapped as other. Okay, and at here you should map the ledger account, cash ledger account, not bank. Okay, we have petty cash. Okay, so this is the ledger account which has to be used, but due to wrong mapping, so it has been used that one. So now I have updated it. So let me select the cash account. Okay, now you can see when I have selected the cash account, now it has been updated. Okay, so at here we can see we have the payment reference number. So if you have any receipt number, you can update your manual receipt number over here under the payment reference number. Okay, otherwise you can click on post button. So once you click on post button, what will happen? Your cash receipts will be posted. Okay, so let me click on post. You can see now the receipt has been posted. Okay, so at here, if you go to the vouchers, okay, so if I click on voucher, now you can see your cash account has been debited and the customer balance has been credited. Okay, so the customer payment, during the customer payment, by default your customer balance or customer account will be in credit. The reason behind, we have already debited the customer during the invoice time. So during invoice, if we have debited, the opposite sign will be utilized for the payment to make it balance or to make it zero of that particular customer balance. Okay, now let's see another payment method. Okay, so next payment method is current dated check. Current dated check is nothing but uh, the check is dated with the current date. Okay, and other in other words, they can say simply check payment method. Okay, so for that, again, let me go to the new customer payment lines. Okay, so let me select some other customer like give wholesales. So let me go to the settle transaction. So we have seen the settle transaction during the vendor payments. So we can settle over here, or we can do the manual settlement post making the payment. So both options are available. We can use any one. Okay. So at here, let me select this one. Okay, so there is 9680. So there is invoice number. They have nothing has been mentioned. Okay, so at here, so when I select the method of payment as check, so by default it will show me the bank account. So under which bank account I'm making this particular check, and the payment status, we will make it as, instead of none, we will make it as received, and we will give the check number under the payment reference. Like for example, my check number is 10005, so I will specify my check number as this. Okay, and I will click on post. So current data check, over here you can see my check date is this one, the current date itself. Okay, now when you post the future dated check, that is the PDC check, so what will happen, we'll click on new. Okay, so at here, let me select customer payment lines. So let me select another customer. Okay, let's imagine now the payment of 12,000 and method of payment is PDC. Okay, so at here you will mention your future date as a transaction date, like for example 30th, sorry, 5th May. Okay, under the PDC check you will mention the maturity date. Maturity date has 6th May, and check receive date will be today, and the PDC status will be open, and you will mention the check number as 1006. Okay, after updating this information, who has been received, and you can update this. These are the additional uh, these are the non I mean, not mandatory fields, but you can update for what was the reason. Okay, and after that, what we have to do, we have to change the status as received. And you can update the same check number under the payment reference number, and you will click on save. So this is my PDC, open PDC. Okay. So once this particular maturity date has been matured, then only I can make the payment. Okay. So until that, this particular PDC is open PDC. Even you can track this open PDC. We have a different form for customer post dated check. Okay, let me open another tab. Okay, so for that we will navigate to the account receivable module. Under account receivable module, under payments, you can see, sorry, not under payments, under inquiries and report, under payments, we have customer post dated check. Okay, so this is one of the inquiry form. So this inquiry form, what it will do, it will display all your PDC information. Okay, now you can see this is the general batch number 643. Okay, and this is the customer Cave Wholesale. Okay, this is the amount and this is the maturity date. So if you want to view this particular information in another tab, already I have opened this particular journal. You can see the maturity date is 5/6/2025 and check receipt date, and this is the check number. And if I go back to the list page, you can see the payment as 12,000. Okay, now this is open PDC, and if you want to know the status of this particular PDC, insert column, we have the PDC status. This is open. So once I have posted this particular PDC, the status of that particular PDC status will be changed to post. Okay. Now you can see we have received a error message stating that the check number must be filled in for the voucher. Okay. So if you scroll over here, the PDC check has been updated. Payment reference we have updated. Let me insert the column. So I'm changing back to February date so that I can post the maturity date. Okay. So now you can see under the list we have the necessary information, and we have updated the check number. Okay. But let's see. So once you have click on post, okay. So we have updated the check number. It was stating the check number is not updated. So what I have done, so under PDC, so at here the payment control is there. So what I have done, this is the checkbox which was checked. So I have removed this particular checkbox. Okay. Now if I particularly post this particular PDC journal, so what will happen? The journal will be posted and the PDC status will be changed to posted. Now previously it is open, right? So let me refresh this particular page. Now you can see the status has been changed to posted. Okay. Now we have posted the PDC, but still the maturity is not done. Okay. So what we will do, we will go to the PDC clearing, settle clearing entries. So if you post this particular PDC, so what will happen? It will trigger to the respective clearing account, right? So it means that the clearing account is nothing but your bridge transaction. So how we will clear our bridge transaction? We will clear our bridge transaction to through journal. Okay. So for that, let me go back to the journal. So at here, let me create new journal lines. Okay. At here, I will go to the functions, select bridge transactions. So this form will display all my PDC entry which I have posted. So at here you can see we have posted these many PDC transactions which is already available for vendor and customer. Okay. So you can see with the help of voucher number also you can identify which one is for related to the vendor and which one is related to the customer. Okay. So at here you can see the payment reference 1006 and ARPM is nothing but accounts receivable payment receipt. Okay, payment method or payment was the series, and similarly this is for the accounts payable. So I will select that respective transaction which I want to clear, that is the 12,001, and I will accept that particular record. So once I have clicked on accept, so what will happen, this particular line information will be copied to the uh, copied over here. Now at here previously the PDC received account which is debited during the our customer receipt transaction. Now what happening, now this has been getting credited and your respective bank has been credited. So at here you will post directly this particular transaction. Okay, so at here what happening during the PDC entry, okay, PDC transaction. So your customer, I will mention as PDC received, is getting debited with 10,000 and customer is crediting with 10,000. Okay, so at here the PDC has been received and it was temporarily stored in a bridge transaction, and the bridge account is nothing but the PDC received account. Okay, now post maturity date we have done the payment. Okay, I mean I have deposited to my bank account. Okay, post maturity date. So post maturity date, so what happened, we are clearing that particular bridge entry from from PDC received account, it is going to the bank. So at here what happening, my bank is getting debited with 10,000 and my PDC clearing account is 10,000. So at last what happened, your PDC account balance will be zero, and indirectly you can say your bank account is getting debited and your customer account is getting created. So this is the PDC transaction, similarly how we have seen in the vendor statement, vendor balance also. Okay, so during the vendor transaction, the PDC entry will be okay. So at here, your vendor will be debited with 10,000 and PDC issue will be 10,000. Okay, and during the maturity date, post maturity date, what will happen? Your PDC issue will be debited with 10,000 and your respective bank will be 10,000. So this is the entry during vendor payment, and this is during the customer payment. So this is the difference between the how the bridging transaction will be posted both in vendor and customer. Okay. Similarly, we have electronic payment. So electronic payment is nothing but it's a wire transaction. Directly you are booking on your mobile banking or internet banking. You are doing the transaction. Okay. For that straightforward, you will select the sorry. So for that, you will go back to the same uh, account receivable, customer payment journal. Okay. So you will create new and you will select the same customer and lines. Okay, at here you will select the same customer and you will enter the amount in credit side, and at here instead of method of payment as check, you will select the electronic payment. Okay, now you have been selected, you have been updated the electronic payment, right? So after updating the electronic payment, the payment reference number will be the mandatory field. So you need to update it, you need to update the transaction number in the payment reference number. Like for example, I'm giving some random transaction number over here. Okay, so after updating the transaction reference number in the payment reference, then you can post this particular transaction. So this is the electronic payment. Okay, now you have been posted this electronic payment. Okay, so these is the information how we can make the payment in the customer payment journal. Okay, so there is one more concept is there. So let's check that one also. Okay, so before going to that, let's see one of the customer who doesn't have any balance. Okay, let me see. Okay, for this particular vendor, we have balance of 150. Let me do one thing. Okay, now for this particular customer, let us create the customer payment journal. Okay, that is D is 001. So I am creating two lines for this particular customer. One is that settling that 150 and I have made the excess payment. Okay, let's imagine. So let me go to the lines. So for this particular customer, let me select this particular customer, settle transaction. Okay, so I'm making full settlement of this particular invoice amount. Okay, so now let me add another line. Okay, one more. Let me delete. So let me add another line and let me select the same customer. Okay, now I have excess payment which I have received from this particular customer. Okay, that is 12,500, and you, now I have received the excess payment. Okay, so how we can refund this excess payment to the customer. Okay, there are two ways which you can do the refund. Okay, one is directly passing the reversal of this particular excess payment. So that is straightforward. What you will do, you will select that particular customer, and instead of credit side you will enter the debit side, and you will knock off the payment. So that is one way. Okay, like for example, imagine, so this 12,500 is my security check or security payment. Okay, when you say the security payment is nothing but this is the proof of payment that you will make until that I can hold this particular money along with me as a guarantee payments. Okay, now this 12,500 I need to issue back to the customer by giving a check. So how we can do that? Okay, so for that, what we need to do, let me change the vendor name, I mean the customer name. So I just updated little bit customer name over here. Okay, so for this, what we have to do, we can do the reimbursement. Okay, there is a process called reimbursement. So what this particular process will do, I will show you. So before that, there is a prerequisite to create this particular reimbursement process. For that, first in accounts payable module, we need to go to the accounts payable parameter. Okay, and under the vendor. Okay, so we have mapped the one time vendor. So this is the first thing which is required for the reimbursement process and which is already done. Okay, second thing, if we go to the account receivable parameter. Okay, under this account receivable parameter, if you go to the number sequence. Okay, so let's see, we have already reimbursement number sequence is already mapped. Okay, so we can use directly. Now what we have to do? Okay, so we have to go to the customer, all customer. Okay, so we will select that particular customer, like we will open this particular customer master, that is DE001. Okay, now you can see we have a reimbursement customer under the customer balance. So we will click reimbursement customer. Okay, summarize this particular customer and including customer with outstanding. Okay, after that there is a if you want to run in batch job, you will make it as yes, otherwise you will click on no, and I will click on OK button. So once I click on OK button, so this reimbursement process will run in front end, and it will convert this particular customer as a vendor, and the balance will be carried forward from here to there. Okay, let's see. For example, I have clicked on OK. Now you can see the reimbursement process is completed. The customer DE001 reimbursement issued for the transaction 1001. Okay. Now this DE001. Let me go to the another tab. Now let me go to the accounts payable, vendors, all vendor. Okay. Now at here, uh, at here let me copy with the customer name. Okay, Now let me filter over here in the vendor name. Now you can see, so this is the vendor which is created now, okay. And if I open this particular vendor, okay, and if I click on vendor balance, it will show me 12,500. Okay, it's showing as 17,500. And at here, if we see the balance, you can see the customer balance is at year 0, and this whatever the balance of this particular customer is there is carry forward to the vendor. Okay, you can ask me, we have updated 12,000 has the balance, so how it has been uh, carry forward as the 17,123. Maybe there are some other payments which is available, so because of that it has been showing in that way. Okay, so this 17,123, now this particular balance has been carried forward to vendor. Now in this particular vendor, so we can create now now we can issue a check for this particular vendor has a reimbursement. Okay, further directly you can go to the accounts payable vendor payment journal. You'll click on new and you will select the payment method as vendor payment. Okay, and you will select that respective customer, sorry, vendor, that is, let me filter with the name. Okay, after that you will go to the settle transaction. Okay, under settle transaction you can say you can see one record with this 17,123. You will copy this particular, I mean you will mark this particular line, that amount will be populated in the payment line, and you will select the method of payment as check. Okay, so after checking, after selecting the method of payment check, you will generate the payment method of payment as check, and bank is USMF operational, and you will click on OK. You will update the check number and you will click on OK. So the check number will be mapped to this particular payment, and the check payment status will be sent, and you will post the payment journal. So in this way you can issue the reimbursement check, or if you, in other words, you can say the advance or security check has been uh, refunded back to the customer. Okay, so there is a one process is nothing but reimbursement. So this is the very unique process which no one knows. Okay, any doubt on this particular reimbursement process?
No, Gautam.
Okay, so if you are okay with this particular vendor payment, I mean customer payment, then we can see our reports, inquiries and reports. Okay, so let's see that inquiry and reports. So at here we have two different reports, I mean two different form we will use it. One is the account receivable, another one is credit and collection to generate the customers reports. Okay, so at here we have total three major reports which we will utilize in our daily life against the customer. Okay, one is the, if you go to the account receivable, so under customer we have customer account statement. This report is nothing but how we have generated for vendor In similar way, this report also. Okay, so at here you can see all the transactions are, if you click on so depends on the parameter it will show over here. So currently I'm not selecting anything, I have clicked on OK. Okay, so this report event you can filter based on the individual customer account by using the records to include option. So currently I'm running for all, so it will run for all. For individual customer, it will open individual PDF file. Okay. Okay. So this is one of the customer account statement. Okay. And similarly, for individual customer, it will generate individual PDF. Okay. So this is one of the customer statement. So if you want to view it, you can view it. If I click on back again, it will show me another customer statement. Okay. So as I have run for all of them, so it will show me for all. Okay, so this is the customer account statement which we will utilize on our daily basis. And the second report which we'll utilize is the customer to ledger reconciliation report. The beauty of this particular report is even if we have any penny difference, so with the help of this particular customer to ledger report, we can easily identify. Like for example, now at here I am giving the from date and to date. Like for example, 01/01/2025 to till date. So if we have any transaction, so it will show me over here. So I need to select the posting profile. So we have two different posting profile. One is Gen and another one is prepayment. So mostly we will use Gen and we'll click on OK. So from 1st January 2025 to up to today, so whatever the transactions we have posted related to the customer on different based on customer group, and you can see it will be mapped in our ledger. Okay, like for example, we have done the uh, account receivable balance is this much in the this much transaction which we have posted in the uh, account receivable, and this many transaction we have posted in which were impacted in the ledger, and this is the difference. Okay, so this particular difference you can easily identify with the help of customer and ledger reconciliation report. Okay, if you want in more detail, so you can run this particular report by voucher wise. Okay, at here you can see include details if you enable this one, and difference only if you enable this toggle. So what will happen, the vouchers with different, it will be populated over here. Now you can see So in this particular report, if I scroll, now you can see we have these are the customer balance which is available and which is not impacted in the ledger. Okay, so it's showing that that particular invoices has this that particular invoices has difference. Okay, the customer balance has been impacted, but the ledger I mean in ledger it is not hit. Okay, and similarly, so this is the customer to ledger reconciliation. Similarly, how we have for the vendor, the same way. Okay, this is the second report which is most important, which we will utilize. And third report is your when customer aging and customer balance. To run this report, you have to navigate credit and collection module. Under credit and collection module, you have inquiries and report. Under customer, you have customer aging and customer balance list report. Okay, so similarly how we have seen the customer aging in the vendor, the same way over here also the same conceptual, you will run the customer aging as of date or as of balance date. So at here also we have the same criteria based on the transaction date, due date and document date. Okay, and you will select the aging period definition. Okay, after selecting the aging period definition, and you will run the report. So we have discussed about the aging report, how it will be calculated. So we have seen in detail in the accounts payable module. The same conceptual over here also, but at there in accounts payable, we are taking part of vendor invoices. In the customer aging, we are taking part of customer invoices, and rest all the process is same. Okay. So this is another report, and the fourth report is your customer balance list report. So this balance list report, what it will show the balances from this from all the customers. Okay, so let me give the from date and to date. Okay, so at here you can see we have a two different report starting date and from date. Okay, so you can classify from the cumulative balance, you can see, and even for this particular period what is my balance. So you can see both way. Like for example, if my cumulative date is starting on 01/01/2000, okay, and I want to make a report from the effective from 1st January. So if I mention the report starting date as 1st January, if I run this particular report, so at here it will show me my debit and credit balances from 1st January to today. Okay, you can see we have a two column of debit and credit. So one column debit and credit, it was showing from 1st Jan 2000 to till date. Another balance it's showing from the 1st January 2025 to till date. Okay, so you can also see the balances based on that. Okay, so these are the four common reports which will utilize in the accounts payable and similarly in accounts receivable. But in accounts payable, one report name will be changed as vendor transaction, vendor to ledger reconciliation, and in customer it is customer to ledger reconciliation. Okay. So other than that, in account receivable, we can see the other transactions like reimbursement report. So this reimbursement report is nothing but how many guarantee checks we have issued so far. So I mean, how many security checks we have refund so far. So you can view those details under the reimbursement report. Let it generate. Sorry, I didn't notice that the meeting was expired. So I've shared my screen. I believe you are able to view it. So, so we have a reimbursement report. So to run this particular report, we have to navigate the account receivable module. Under account receivable module, uh, we have the reimbursement report under customer. Okay, this report will show how many security checks we have been refunded. I mean, any security deposit or any advances which we have been refunded to the customer. So those information you can track with the help of this particular reimbursement report. So we have done one reimbursement today, that is DE001. You can see the customer to vendor conversion, and this is the amount which we have done it for the reimbursement. Okay. So other than that, we have payment. So under the customer payment, so we have already seen the PDC check inquiry form. Okay. So other than PDC check inquiry form, we have one more uh, customer posted payment journal report. This particular report, what it will show so far how many the payment journals we have posted inside the Dynamics from the date of transaction when we started the transactions. So it will display all the transaction journal report in one shot in this particular report when we run this particular report. Okay, like for example, we have transactions since 2000. So from that particular date to till date, so how many journals we have posted, it will show all those journals. Okay, you can see this is the journal which has been created on 2015. So it is displaying over here. You can see the date, transaction date. Okay, so if you have any payment reference number, it will show the payment reference number. You can see the invoice number. Okay, so these are the customer posted payment journals, so you can able to view it. So far today we have seen the payment and we have seen the reports part. So if you have any doubt in this particular accounts payable module, please let me know. If there is no doubt, so tomorrow what we will do, tomorrow we will create the tax and we will see how the tax is getting calculated for both vendor invoice and customer invoice, how it is calculating. So we will see more in detail. Okay, if it is clear for accounts receivable. Then we will see tomorrow tax. Okay, then we will stop over here. So we will see you tomorrow, and we will see more in detail on tax and how we can apply tax on the purchase order and sales order. We will see it. Thank you.